G'day, this is Rhino Burrows Nerdsville, and as usual, I am your host, Rhino Burrows. This just recently came to my attention, and once again, sorry for the lack of top. It is still one of those hot summer cloudy days here in Sydney, Australia. This is what really bugs me. And it bugs me because you look at there's certain times of the day when you are supposed to be allowed to see such, you could say cartoons, anime, anything to do with a violent content, as you would see in Ryu Oni Rurouni Genshin, or Samurai X if you want to do more the English speaking, or let's see here. So, in Maho Romantic Automatic Maiden, animated nudity, strong sexual references, and adult themes. Ghost Hunt, supernatural themes and coarse language, Line Barrel, animated violence and nudity and sexual references. You got Iki Torosen, and I'm read here. Sexual references, animated sexual activity, moderate violence, coarse language, mature themes, and nudity. Soul Eater, mature themes and frequent animated violence. And there's also shows like the family shows that I deem to be a bit more overtly in your face when it comes to these things, like the Family Guy, The Simpsons, American Dad, The Cleveland Show. Like, those shows they are in some countries shown at a certain time. Even something like Adult Swim, like Birdman, Attorney at Law, or even Robot Chicken are shown at a certain time. They are shown at after 9 at night. 8 o'clock in some areas, 9 o'clock in others. Even Naruto in some senses as well, because of the violence and the bloodshed in that particular anime. But you gotta look at this. It is cartoons, and the networks who put them on are there to provide an entertainment. They are not there to provide parental guidance or parental responsibility to the viewer. As I may mention with the Rurouni Kenshin, violence, blood spurting type violence, gore violence, automatic Maho romantic, automatic maiden, sexual references. You look at Battle Girl, sexual references there, and violence as well. There is so many things that are shown at a certain time when youngsters, like under 16, 15, would, like if you're 15, 16 and older, you virtually can watch these shows because you can get to grips with it. But it really annoys me and frustrates me to think that stupid parental lobbyists would say, "Oh, it's because of a kid watching Samurai X. He bought a sword, and they cut up their classmates, so they just nope. Even with Gurren Lagann here. You see her? She has a gun, a very huge gun in the anime. For her to go, all right, I'm going to take out this big robotic monster from a long distance away, and then someone would go, and again, these parental lobbyists, these parental dictators are literally saying, "Oh, this show, it's not good. It's too perverted for the young man, for the young male demographic." An episode in I know I'm getting miles around it with anime. I mainly watch anime, but in Naruto, the character Sai makes reference to Naruto's genitalia, and then you just see the whole when in some areas in the world, you do have to have a shower before you put on your normal school clothes, even if it is just to go home. And it's just normal to have a young person go, "Hey, hey, you have no balls," something along those lines. But then the teacher could go to the parent, and the parent can usually go, "Oh, it's that dirty Naruto program. You're not watching that dirty program anymore." It was just a smart alecky comment that one of the characters had with another character. Even even if like a 13 or 14-year-old boy goes into, just say, like, for argument's sake, their father's special room, and they open up one of the special drawers they open up and read a special magazine, and they read the special articles. Yes, I am talking about the father's, like, private, like the father's office or the father's den or whatever room that is dedicated just for the man, the working class man or the officer man in the household would more or less just want to go in there, see his girly magazines, his pornography magazines, and would go and just want to relax and even to view such materials. Also, they would even go on. Even there would be a specialized, like, well, I'm sorry for the shaking, but still, I'm just shaking my laptop, and you would have men with certain images on their computers, laptops, and all the kid has to go to do is, okay, like, they would know that they might just might find out the password to the computer. They could go It could be the father's favorite car, drink, or whatever. Like Ford, and his favorite number is 69. Boom. And that could be the password for some father's computers, and they would look at, then they go, ooh, internet, and it'll just come up with all these, YouPorn, Pornhub, RedTube things. I know about this stuff because I just typed in Google and in porn and just seen the first three hits that would come up. Just reading the thing, I don't view those things being, But the father can go, oh, it's that Jiraiya from that Naruto thing. It could be, oh, that pervert Master Roshi from Dragon Ball. It could be anyone with a liking of pornography, a liking of the female body or the female form, and they would more blame that. We could even blame someone like Homer Simpson, who mainly collects TV guides, but in one of the episodes there, one of the TV guides happens to have a subsequent, like a silhouette of a flesh toned, like this tone, or a darker skin toned silhouette, and happen to be of a female form with like a little bump where on like on the a side boob thing. But then they go, oh, it was that Homer Simpson. He waved a African American porno magazine. It was an Asian porno mag. It was this porno or that porno mag. They will blame the cartoon, or they will blame the form of their entertainment, rather than go, okay, we really need to sit down here and talk to our kids. That is what is mainly needed in today's society. And in today's society, it's people that want to blame. Literally, they are blaming TV. Well, actually, 100%, actually a high 80s to or 90% of the time now, since adults are too busy to do things. Most, they would say, "Oh, spending time with your child is a luxury." Now, spending your time is not a luxury. It's a privilege on the adult. And it is a duty of an adult. I can remember years ago, when I was a child, that I was brought up by two beautiful and understanding people, being my mother and my father. I was given the talk from both. I was educated in life by both. And I watched things that would make the make the animes look child's play. I watched RoboCop when it was a few years after it came out, and I realized, and I was into more of like the sci-fi movie thing. Man, I saw Alex Murphy get shot, but I didn't go and get a gun and say, "Oh, I'm RoboCop," bang, 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 and wipe out bullies from the school. I watched over here in Australia. It's called this thing like sketch comics or sketch comedy shows, where a couple of fellas were literally tearing shreds. Steve Izard was one, and I think it was Peter Moon that really they acted. Man, they were extremely racist towards Middle Eastern people. There's been I've seen a lot of jokes of a sexual nature. I've seen jokes on people from other countries. I've heard all of it. And the first time I ever heard the N-word, I was sat down by, I think it was both of my loving parents. The N-word that the African Americans use for each other, which I say, if you want to use it for yourselves, don't. If everyone else cannot use that word, neither can you. That is my policy. And when I first heard that word, and I was just sat down, and both of them sat me down, and they said, "What word you just heard is a bad word, and you shouldn't be saying that bad word." I asked why, and they explained to me in a way that I vaguely understand, but I know the ramifications of it now. Well, more complex ramifications of what my parents were telling me, and I did not use that word. You see, you can't have these you can have all these violent cartoons. You can have all these cartoons with more of like a sexualized nature. Cartoons that say, shit, ass, fuck, and the C word, the N word as well. You can have, some racial jokes as well. But it is mainly the responsibility of raising children. It is not by the networks. The networks are there to entertain, to educate, to inform people of anything and anything. Educational shows like Mythbusters, they do some silly things on that show, but there's no uproar about that because it's educational. It's live action, and some sort of defamatory comments if some things were said against them. But to look on to like a cartoon samurai that slaughters a number of people from a village, and people see that and they see something like what could be used as like a knife wielding variant or variation to Columbine, and they go, "Ooh, it's a cartoon. It's that anime. It's this, that, and the other." And there's so much that these so-called parental political parties need to look at, lobbyists need to look at, groups, and I am going to make mention of one that made it hell, literally a hell on earth, for a number of wonderful and intelligent entertainers. The PMRC, they've done a lot of those sort of so-called parental groups that think they go, "Oh, we're doing this for the children. Oh, what about the children?" Well, and moving a time slot from moving it like an hour earlier. It could be like from 9 o'clock at night, moving it to 8 o'clock, or in some areas moving it from 8 o'clock to 7 o'clock. They would go, you got take down this video, take down these, don't show these shows, don't do this, don't do that. And guess what? They back down. Networks back down. They back down for what? For nothing. Instead of these so-called parental organizations, groups, lobbies, government parties, instead of neglecting their own children and telling others on how to raise theirs, they should more stay and to more or less just to go, alright, this is what we're going to do, this is what we need to do for our children, and we need to educate our children. Instead of hammering networks, be it Cartoon Network, be it Nickelodeon, be it even Disney. Let me just say this. I can remember a mere 6 years ago when over here in Australia, the Cartoon Network and Turner Classic Movies shared the one network. The one, shared the number on that dial. And from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. it was Turner Classic Movies. That is all. From with Gone with the Wind and Frankly My Dear, I Don't Give a Damn, and the John Wayne classics. Throw in some Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry type stuff. Go ahead and make my day. Then as soon as the 6 a.m. clocked over, it was. So it was. Let me see. They did put a lot of anime on because it was a fledgling. It was more of a fledgling-based cartoon network at that stage, and they would show Sailor Moon, show Dragon Ball, and show some different animes in that. I just can remember, Sailor Moon, which was from 6:30 to 6 o'clock to 6:30, and Dragon Ball from 7 to 7:30. Sometimes 7 to 8 because there was some request, but it was some other one was based on some toy that was coming out or already in the stores. And that was okay. I think it was about 4 years ago, could be 5. Both of those networks got their own channels. I think since I think they were sharing, since you click over to from movies, it was cartoons, and in reverse it was the same thing. I know it was cartoons and movies, like that. But ever since they split, I think it was the cartoon one that got the next number in line, and they showed more. Started to show a bit more child-based TV shows, and Turner Classic Movies did 24/7 Turner Classic Movies. And I think the first one from 6 o'clock was the Wizard of Oz, yes. And a lot of people did watch the Wizard of Oz. A lot of people of the more mature age watched Wizard of Oz, and I think when the station switched on to more 24 hours, the Cartoon Network, it did a bit more, with the. They still shown it, but at the 12, then this whole tsunami thing came up, and all these beautiful things. And you can watch and it was flawless over here in Australia. But there are some people that still wanted to go otherwise, say otherwise, and this and the other, which is a lot of bullshit, if you ask me. There is so much stuff, some much more important stuff in this world for parents of today to worry about than some animated drawing, some animated entertainment. I was just informed about the kid that died because of a movie they seen Garadu from Naruto, I think was Naruto Shippuden, I'm not quite sure. But I don't, to be honest with you, my heart does go out to the family who lost their child, the people who have lost their friends, and the family members who have lost a family member. My heart does go out to them. It was an unfortunate accident, but there's a huge but here. It was not the network's fault. It wasn't the creator of Naruto's fault. I know it's going to be. I know there's got a lot of people going to be angry with this, and I don't care. You can leave it in the comment section. I just got one thing to say about this. Where were the parents? If the parents did care for the child, they should have been more alert and attentive, instead of just relying on a so-called sensibility that they have or had. And yeah, it is a tragedy for a child to die, but if the parents were there, they would have said, no, don't do that. Yeah, throw these paper, they could have said, oh, they would have had, and make cardboard cutouts of these and just say, oh, these are the kunai. Throw them at each other, throw a cardboard one of these at someone. Hell, these are the wooden ones. The wooden ones don't cut, but the cardboard ones would break if you try to do that. And yeah, some common sense is needed in today's day and age, instead of just having things like this. Things like this. Don't make. Let me see. This is going to be the final thought on the thing. I promise. The final message of this whole fiasco, this whole scenario is: don't say you don't have time for your children. If you know for a fact that you're going to be too busy to spend that time with your family, or to be a true loving and caring parent, I know it's going to be hard, but don't have kids. Don't say, don't blame the media, as in the networks, or something like the internet, for what they seen on the internet. They recreated it. Even, let me just lean over here. And don't even say it's something like this. Do never blame entertainment places or devices where children can get entertainment from for the child's death or for the death of other children. Do not blame them. Do not blame those areas for a young boy, a young teenage boy, or even a pre-teen boy, from opening up a porno magazine and seeing a naked boob or two. It's not the publication's job. It is your job to manage what you let your children see. You have the power with this. I can remember back in the day, if I liked a show and I screwed up, I didn't watch that show for a number of weeks because I screwed up. But then I got talking about what I did wrong. I knew I didn't watch the show for a few weeks. If it was like a weekly show, I missed out on quite a. It was like, weekly. If it was a daily show, I missed out on quite a lot. But now I've turned out to be a somewhat productive member of my community. I have my artistic skills are going through the roof. I'm a great mentor now. I'm not a great mentor, but I am a mentor to young teenagers now. And things like that wouldn't be possible if I didn't have loving parents who sat me down and said, what you seen there, I got the talk before I even went into high school. I was 12 at the time. 12 going on 13, but still I had the talk before going into high school. But high school just reaffirmed what in a certain book that you would get from PE, H and PD, physical education, health and personal development class. That affirmed for what was said to me. They said that something. My parents did say that my voice would drop, and it has. It's not as high as it's not as high as it was 25 years ago. Well, it's actually dramatically lower. The hair, hair on my chin, hair on my chest. Yep. And that was through education from my parents before I got a chance to learn about it in school. There are so many things parents can teach their children, but, and I do mean this, but y'all don't want to take the time to raise your children. And if the message of this video is, if you're a parent, raise your children. And don't place the responsibility on networks, on magazines. Don't do it. You have the power. Use it. You have the power. You have the power to say no. You have the power to say no. 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 You do have that power. And don't pass it on to someone else. Even if you want to say, oh, it's the nanny. Don't blame the nanny. Or the butler. Everything is on you. Everything is riding on you. What the kids learn today, they will reenact tomorrow. And networks. Keep up the good work. Don't bow to pressure. I've been Rhino Barrows, and I'm saying peace.